Hello, I am Kate Balsis. I am the co-founder of Concrete Collaborative.
I'm very excited to introduce our next guest, Kate Balsis, who's here from Concrete Collaborative. This is an incredible story. I can't wait for Kate to share this story with you. There are all kinds of turns and twists. This is not just an entrepreneurial story, it's an immigrant story, it's a story about family. And more than all of that, it is about a local manufacturer here in the US. Why don't we start off? Why don't you share with us, please, not only your own personal journey, but the story behind Concrete Collaborative?
Thanks so much for having me. It's nice to meet you. Finally, I feel like I've seen you so much and I'm like, yay, I actually get to meet you. We are Concrete Collaborative, so it's me and my two sisters and my husband and brother-in-law. And my story is really, I'm from Australia, hence the accent. And after university in Australia, I worked with my dad, who's a civil engineer, to develop kind of concrete finishes that I felt we needed, just different concrete and terrazzo that I was looking for, that I was inspired to make. And then we actually got clients in the United States. Calvin Klein was one of our first clients. And pretty much I got a purchase order and I was like, how do I handle this? So my sister, I'm the creative one. She quit her job that day at Morgan Stanley, and we kind of set up in her garage in Brooklyn, our company. And then just it went from there with her husband, and then bringing on my husband and bringing my sister from Australia. And so we kind of built our business making terrazzo finishes, concrete finishes for the architecture and design industry here in the United States.
Wow, what an incredible story. We're in this ecosystem where I would say the majority of tile companies, they have a simple approach. They go and they purchase in Italy, in Spain, throughout Europe, and they import it here. Now, what you decided to do was to actually manufacture. Your sister, I understand, quit her job on the day that you received the purchase order. So talk about blind faith. Now that went from, we're going to track the geography here. We went from Australia, now we're in Brooklyn. Tell me where manufacturing takes place today and where you've grown to from what was two sisters to now brother-in-laws to, I understand, third sister has also joined.
And my husband, who actually was the architect that we worked with Calvin Klein, we ended up bringing him on too. So it's a real family business in all sense of the word. But yeah, I mean, it grew. We definitely are a manufacturer at heart. That's really the heart of what we do. So there is that, always collaborating on new finishes and kind of working with architects and designers to develop new technologies. That's really that creative side of it, is we're really makers at heart. And so we set up a factory in California. That was the first spot. We were like had dreams of California when we were living in New York. It feels like kind of a halfway point to Australia, lifestyle wise. So that was kind of our dream, and we named all the products after beaches: California beaches, Laguna, Solana, Venice. So all our product ranges are named after California beaches. So we have our main production here in California. That's where we kind of grew local production, and it really helped during the 2010-ish time to actually be able to have local production, and we were commercially able to fulfill lead times really quickly. It gave us a huge advantage in the industry. And then we've now set up production in Georgia on the East Coast, which we're really excited about. We have a new factory there, which is servicing all our East Coast clients as well.
So a true US manufacturer here on Material Bank. Let's just touch on that for a second. How did you find Material Bank? And you've been on this platform now for a little more than a couple years. Share with us how you found Material Bank and then share with us how it's changed your business.
I had seen it at some design shows or been connected through Interior Design Magazine somehow because we love them and we always do the design awards and stuff like that. So it had been on my radar. And with COVID and everything, it seemed like it's such a good time to actually consider, how we service these firms that we couldn't necessarily go into constantly. Um, and that's how we got onto Material Bank. But I think our original salesperson was actually a designer we had worked with in DC that ended up working with you guys that reached out to us like, we need your products on here. It would be so perfect. And it's been a couple of years, and I think we didn't anticipate how popular the product would be. I remember our original shipment to Material Bank was only so many samples, and they went in like the first day. So it's really been a huge success for us, and we wouldn't have anticipated uh, the number of clients we've been able to connect with and nationally that we weren't able to service necessarily in person. So it's been really a huge advantage for us as a company.
Talk about some of the success that you've achieved on Material Bank. List some projects for us. I'm really interested. Residential, commercial projects.
I mean, that's what's so interesting is it really spans such a big range. We do residential projects, so there's these independent firms, interior design firms that we may not have, when we go to Dallas, have actually gone into their office and met. They're more independent firms that have found us through Material Bank, and we've done residential projects with, which is really exciting. To really the other end of like large scale commercial projects. That commercial end is where I'd say our products have been really popular on Material Bank with a lot of the designers and architects, where it is like corporate offices and big sort of campuses, where we see that the lead has come from Material Bank and it's actually converted into a project sale.
You guys went through and went from two employees, initially yourself, your sister, and that eventually grew over time to a team of roughly 50. You're handling manufacturing, you're handling sales. You obviously take these leads. Talk to us a little bit about when you receive a lead from Material Bank, what that process looks like. What is the outreach? How long does it generally take you to achieve sales?
It's actually pretty amazing the way that you guys send the leads through is, in a daily spreadsheet. And it provides the architect that reached out, the project that they're reaching out in regards to. It facilitates the sample. It lets us know what type of project it is. So for our sales team, in terms of an inquiry, it gives you all the information you would need, and then it's an opportunity for us when we are, connecting with that firm to then connect with them on that project. And we use that not only in real time to connect with the designers on the projects, answer any specification questions. And then there's others that are these bigger commercial projects that have taken, the couple of years that we've been on Material Bank, and that's typical too with construction.
So you're fascinating to me. I mean, this entire story to start from Australia to Brooklyn to a manufacturing facility in California, one in Georgia. Now you also have added two showrooms. Talk about the two showrooms as well.
For us, we like to like keep it at its roots. We try not to be something that we're not. And so part of that is having the brick and mortar kind of spaces that really means a lot to us. So at our warehouse in Oceanside, we have kind of like a showroom that, well, people will come to our warehouse in San Diego. And then we have a showroom in New York, which we've had established since I think 2000 and something. I mean, it's been a long time, nearly a decade. And that's in Soho, Nolita area. And that's incredible. All our samples, the collaborations that we get to do, the events we get to do there. And then we've just opened a showroom in San Francisco in the last couple of years, which we really love as well.
The designers that you've met on Material Bank, obviously you've made an investment, you've received these leads, you've embraced this entire community, and you've grown inside of this ecosystem. I'd love for you to share with us where else you make investments to grow your amazing company.
Instagram is a big investment for us, um, which is interesting because it's not typical advertising for architecture and design industry, but the majority of our followers on Instagram are actually architects and designers. So when we come into their offices, they'll be like, "Oh, I love your Factory Friday. I love what you guys do on Instagram. I love doing this because I know it will be on LinkedIn, and that's a social platform that we love to connect with, like our clients." And then we, obviously work with Interior Design Magazine to show any of our new products, design events, design awards.
We have a lot of companies that come, they look at Material Bank, and many of them think Material Bank is only for very big brands who are capable of spending significant sums. You're a perfect example of a small company who's transitioned to, we'll now call you a medium sized business. What would you say to the brands that are apprehensive about joining because they may not believe that this is the right platform for a smaller medium business?
I mean, I think it suits a boutique company because you're getting reach into these firms where there's a big investment to service their libraries and to constantly keep them updated. And what we find is our samples just go. Then we populate libraries and then they're gone. And the librarians do everything they can to hold on to them. But we really have such beautiful finishes. They're exciting. They look great on mood boards. It's a way to get your samples out.
Inside of this ecosystem, it's very important, obviously, for the community to hear your story on sustainability. I'd love if you would just touch on that for us.
Being from Australia is a little bit more inherent in our design culture. But sustainability is huge for us as a company. Particularly our countertops are really low VOC. But we'll have companies like we work with Google that actually work with us directly and have vetted us independently as a manufacturer, and we'll do like their whole campuses because our product and processes are so sustainable. So it's definitely something that we really pride ourselves on as a company. We recycle all the water in our factory. It's a closed loop system. There's no emissions. Then we use recycled aggregate. So it's all the waste from stone slabs that we use as our aggregate in our terrazzo.
Kate, obviously, the name of the company is Concrete Collaborative. I'd love for you to give a little insight into some of the collaborations you do, particularly with the artists in this industry.
Yeah, I think that is pretty cool. It does set us apart. A lot of our products are actually developed in collaboration with different designers and artists. We just launched a new tile collection with Alex Prober, who's a visual artist, and it's a cement tile that is made of terrazzo, that is inspired by mortadella and salami, which is really, really cool. Work with artists and architects and designers, and kind of a collaboration between me and someone else. We just actually developed a new brick. So we make breeze blocks, which are really cool. And then we've just collaborated with Sarah Sherman Samuel to do a fluted brick, which is like an extrusion and creates kind of a fluted surface. So yeah, we have a lot of collaborations in the works. We typically are always launching one every couple of months with a different artist or designer.
Amazing. On behalf of the entire team at Material Bank, we want to thank you and your entire family. You guys are an unbelievable story. The entire community, if you have not searched Concrete Collaborative, you should absolutely come to Material Bank, search for Concrete Collaborative as a brand. Also, go directly to their website. You'll be blown away by their product lines, and you'll learn more about the names of California beaches than any other location.